Hello, dear friends. All ideals are very beautiful, but history shows that they degrade. Opinion piece. The unknown professor, a very lent gentleman, mysterious Rosicrucian philosopher, emissary of a mystery school, Saint Germain at the independence of the USA. Let's start. An unknown professor exhorted the hesitant American founding fathers to sign the Declaration of Independence. Precisely, Saint Germain twice mentioned his role as the unknown professor in the signing of the U.S. Declaration of Independence, according to Raymond Bernard. Saint Germain's role in American independence is still the subject of debate and speculation in some esoteric circles. There is a popular belief that attributes to Saint Germain a role in the signing of the U.S. Declaration of Independence as the unknown teacher. This idea was presented by the occultist Raymond Bernard in his book The Great Secret of Count Saint Germain. According to this theory, Saint Germain is said to have influenced the discussions and deliberations that led to the drafting and signing of the Declaration of Independence. He is said to have provided guidance and advice to the nation's founding fathers, persuading them of the importance of independence and encouraging them to sign the document. According to Steve Biko, they recognized the professor as an emissary of a mystery school that had long controlled the destiny of this planet. The Count of Saint Germain was a historical and mysterious figure who lived in the 18th century and to whom many extraordinary skills and knowledge are attributed. Utopia. Throughout his life, Sir Francis Bacon's greatest hope was the creation of a utopia on the other side of the Atlantic, the realization of his new Atlantis, in the form of a society of free men governed by sages and scientists, in which his Masonic and Rosicrucian principles would govern the social, political, and economic life of the new nation. Was Sir Francis Bacon's vision of the new Atlantis a prophetic dream of the civilization that would soon rise on the soil of the New World? There can be no doubt that the secret societies of Europe conspired to establish on the American continent a new nation conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Before the signing of the Declaration of Independence in 1776, Manly Hall refers to the appearance of a mysterious Rosicrucian philosopher, a strict vegetarian who ate only food that grew above ground, who was a friend and teacher of Franklin and Washington, and who seemed to have played an important role in the founding of the new republic. He was known as the unknown professor. Appearance. On July 4, 1776, this mysterious stranger, whose name no one knew, suddenly appeared in the Independence Hall and made a stirring speech to the fearful men assembled there, who wondered whether they should risk their lives as traitors by affixing their names to the memorable document written by Thomas Jefferson, and of whose ideals Francis Bacon, founder of Freemasonry and the Rosicrucians, was the true initiator. The Declaration of Independence was drafted primarily by Thomas Jefferson and was approved and signed by 56 delegates to the Continental Congress. This mysterious stranger, called the Professor, whose name and origin were unknown, played a vital role in history in the signing of the Declaration of Independence. During the night of July 4, 1776, in the old State House in Philadelphia, a group of men gathered for the momentous task of breaking the link between the old country and the new. Those present feared for their lives for their audacity. In the midst of the debate, a fierce voice rang out. The debaters stopped and turned to look at the stranger. They had never seen him before. No one knew when he had entered, but his tall form and pale face filled them with awe. The stranger's voice moved them deeply. His last words echoed through the building. In quotes, God has given America her freedom. As the stranger sank exhausted into a chair, wild enthusiasm erupted. Name after name was placed upon the parchment. The Declaration of Independence was signed, but the strange professor has disappeared and was never seen again. Strange gentleman. Robert Allen Campbell revives the tale of a mysterious man of whom there is no information. In quotes, little seems to have been known of this old gentleman, and in the materials from which this account is compiled, his name is not once mentioned, as he is uniformly spoken of or referred to as the professor. He was evidently well beyond his 60th year, and he often referred to historical events of more than a century before as if he had been a living witness of their occurrence. He was still erect, vigorous and active, healthy, hearty and clear-minded, as strong and energetic in every way as in the prime of life. He was tall, of good figure, perfectly simple, very dignified in his manners, being at once courteous, gracious and commanding. He was, for those times, and considering the habits of the colonists, very peculiar in his mode of living, for he ate no meat, no fowl, no fish, never used for food any green things, no roots, nor anything unripe. He drank no liquor, wine, nor beer, but confined his diet to cereals and their products, fruits ripened on the stalk in the sun, nuts, weak tea, and the sweetness of honey, sugar, and molasses. The same abstemious behavior of the Count with regard to food was well documented in Europe. In quotes again, he was highly educated, very learned, of extensive and varied knowledge, and very studious. He spent a great deal of his time in the patient and persistent exploration of a number of very rare ancient books and ancient manuscripts which he seemed to be deciphering, translating or rewriting. These books and manuscripts, together with his own writings, he never showed to anyone, and he never mentioned them in his conversations with his family except in the most casual manner, and whenever he left his room, even for meals, he always locked them away in a large, old-fashioned, heavy oaken chest, cubical in shape, with iron rims. He took long and frequent walks alone, sat on the summits of neighboring hills, or meditated amidst green and flowery meadows. He was quite liberal, but by no means generous in spending his money, of which he was well provided. He was a quiet member of the family, though very affable and very interesting, and was apparently at ease on any and every subject that arose in conversation. In short, he was one whom all would notice and respect, whom few would feel well acquainted with, and whom no one would dare to question about himself, where he came from, why he stopped or whither he traveled. It was evident that General Washington and Dr. Franklin recognized the professor, and by unanimous approval he was invited to become an active member of the committee. During the proceedings which followed, the professor was treated with the deepest respect, and all his suggestions were promptly followed. He presented a pattern which he considered symbolically appropriate for the new flag, and it was accepted without hesitation by the other 6 members of the committee, who voted that the arrangement suggested by the professor be adopted immediately. After the flag episode, the professor quickly disappeared and nothing more was heard of him. Importance. The Declaration of Independence was a pivotal document in the struggle of the American colonies against British rule. It was drafted primarily by Thomas Jefferson and proclaimed the separation of 13 North American colonies from the British Empire, thus stating the foundations for the formation of a new independent nation. The 4th of July is celebrated across the country with festivities, parades, fireworks, and community activities. It is a day for Americans to take pride in their history and values, and to remember the spirit of freedom and self-government that drove the founding of this country. It is also a time to reflect on the ideals of equality, liberty, and human rights, which are rooted in the Declaration of Independence and have been central to their national identity. According to Harry Truman, in quotes, America was not built on fear. It was built on courage, imagination, and insurmountable determination to do what was right. The same could be said of other American countries. Message from Saint Germain by Nagari. Soon the revaluation of 23 currencies worldwide will begin. The long-awaited RV is coming at last like a shower of blessings. We must also have the official announcement of Gisara. All this brings with it the cancellation of bank debts, the extinction of income tax, and the 14th flat tax on consumer goods. The new QFS has been in place for some time now, and very soon everyone on Earth will have their QFS accounts and the money in it. It is the end of poverty and inequality across the planet. The new financial system is unhackable, and no one except the account holder will be able to access the money deposited there. The excitement is high, but we know you are well prepared and you will do very well. Let's rebuild the planet and its economy together, based on changing the hands of money. They will make those who have held the power and wealth on earth until now are no longer there. They will make their appointment in peace and tranquility. Be assured that we are all looking out for each one of you. And from there, Gaia and its inhabitants, now liberated, will be able to enter the new golden age of light, love, and abundance for all. Reset News. Judge condemns social media censorship. A U.S. federal judge has issued a landmark ruling partially granting an injunction that prevents several administration officials and government agencies from working with major technology companies to censor social media posts. JP Morgan Chase and 40 other banks test FedNow ahead of launch of instant payment service. According to Goldilocks, the new protocols have been created, approved, and put in place that form a new economy. The paperwork is done, with the exception of the system upgrades that will connect all the world's quantum technologies into one. This includes the important Stellar platform that links payment systems. These new mechanisms will begin to form new price actions in the market. There will be market sectors that will grow during this time, while others that didn't transform will face challenges in this new economic reality. We still need to see our currencies move to new values. Some countries reported that they are undervalued by as much as 15%. This is the phase of our economy where a level playing field in the banking system, markets and the private sector are moving towards real values. The dollar will be challenged in the future. Its biggest challenge will be faced next month when BRICS introduces a new trading currency backed by many countries. Michael Rechenwald has just published his new book outlining the globalist reset. He details a 9-point plan to reject this reset. Number 1 on the list, he rejects central bank digital currency because, in his view, it represents the greatest threat to individual freedom. A skeptical message from Randra. Everywhere they say VR is imminent, like next Monday or in 2 weeks or whatever, to get your hopes up and get you tired of it. For the last 10 or 20 years, they have been saying the same thing and it didn't happen. It's possible they'll get it right sometime. Dangerous sunspot. The giant sunspot AR3354 is no longer directly in front of the Earth, but is still dangerous. The sunspot has a beta-gamma delta magnetic field that harvests energy for strong X-class solar flares. Even a sideways explosion could affect our planet with radio blackouts and a glancing solar storm. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.